Hey everyone, welcome back to Prairie Grown Reviews. We review books, games, movies, and TV shows. Today, we are back for WandaVision, Episode 3, now in color. So, boys, let's jump right in. Some non spoiler thoughts. Nat?
Well, first things first, I gotta say that like the majority of the episode seems like a pretty normal episode, I guess, kind of. I mean, the things that happen, I mean, they do happen at an accelerated rate. So, Wanda's pregnant. I guess this is not really a spoiler. So, Wanda's pregnancy goes like very, very fast. So, other than that part, like the majority of the episode is focused around that and the shenanigans that involves Wanda being pregnant. But other than that, it was an interesting episode when we got near the end.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd have to agree. The title fits this one pretty well. We actually finally get titles for all three of them. We didn't have them last week, but we do have those now. So I thought that was a cool little touch. And really, this episode, we take a pretty big step back towards where we're used to being, where we're used to finding ourselves in the MCU as a whole. So I thought that was a really, really good improvement from the first two. But we also managed to keep sort of in that sitcom type of scenario, and we're just sort of gradually getting there. I still think we're one or two more episodes away before we really shift out of this sitcom environment back into what we're used to from Marvel as a whole. But overall, this is still one of the more solid episodes of the season, I would say.
Yeah, I'd have to agree, though I would say this is actually my favorite of the season so far. It's definitely gotten better for me. Every episode's gotten a little better.
Yeah.
I've liked it more and more. Um, it was cool. They kept the sitcom atmosphere and vibe going, the environment. But yeah, like Austin said, it is a little more closer to some major MCU stuff we usually see. And there's especially some reveals at the end, which we'll talk about in the spoiler section, that really set things up for the rest of the season. There's some really big reveals and some interesting concepts that I'm excited to see where they go with. Oh, and like Austin mentioned, we now have titles for all three. So the first episode is called Filmed Before a Live Studio Audience. And the second episode is called Don't Touch That Dial. And then the third episode, as I said, is now called Now in Color. So now any more non-spoiler thoughts, boys?
That's about it.
Nope, I'm ready to dive into the good stuff.
We are going to move on to the spoiler section. Spoilers. So, everyone, now we are going to talk about the biggest spoilers of the episode. We're going to try and go into chronological order here, but we might jump to some favorite things and whatnot. So,
Absolutely.
we'll just start off right from the beginning. We get another new intro, another new theme song and intro, which was fun and different. And they utilized their new house environment, including a backyard now.
Yep.
Fun in that intro. So, yeah, the intro was good. And then we move right along, just skipping past that, to Wanda's getting checked up by the doctor. And I guess this is like the night after what we saw in last episode, because
Yep.
Vision says 12 hours. And she's 4 months pregnant. What do you guys think when he said she was that far along already?
To be quite honest with you, it didn't surprise me too much. We've seen some wacky stuff in the past two episodes already, and plus there's some exterior forces at work for sure here of some kind. So it doesn't shock me too much that someone who can move things with their mind among a lot of other things gets pregnant at a different rate than somebody with, say, no powers does, even though it's extremely accelerated. I'd say 12 hours and 4 months are a little bit apart, just a little bit. But yeah,
Just a little bit.
just a little bit.
And just before I let you go, Nat, I'll ask you about this. That Vision seemed to be a little more self-aware this episode. Right at the beginning, he's questioning how this is all happening. Like, this was 12 hours ago that we noticed this baby bump. What do you think of Vision's self-awareness, Nat?
Well, to be honest, I didn't quite notice that as well as you did. So, like I say, it's kind of interesting. It's cool to see. I guess he has some character development. I'm not sure if we mentioned this in the video or not, but I think when we were discussing, we talked about like that potentially Vision might be like a creation of Wanda's mind and stuff like that. So it's weird, I guess, kind of to see him kind of deviate from, I guess, a script sort of. So maybe that's interesting to see him, have a bit more self awareness for sure. Yeah.
Yep. So after Vision lets the Doctor go home, he walks him out. Wanda all of a sudden is up to around 6 months pregnant. All of a sudden, so you can tell that it's going at an accelerated rate. And then some funny things start to happen around their house while they're building the nursery. Even she adds some butterfly things, and then all of a sudden, like what was it, carousel? I don't know what that thing's called.
Yep, pretty much.
And then all of a sudden they turn into real butterflies. So
And
what do
away
you
they
guys
go.
think was happening there?
That's just more proof that this has got to be at least half controlled by Wanda in some way, shape, or form, whether it's she's stuck there or not. We see that a whole bunch more further into the episode, where if any sort of emotional state from her at all, and all of a sudden her powers go haywire, and we have a bird walking around the house. But we'll get to that.
We'll get to that.
Said my turn.
So
I'm not.
then,
No, you're not cutting me off. No.
no,
I haven't said
okay,
anything
you go,
yet.
you
You said I.
You go.
Anyways, going back to
Yeah,
the
I
doctor
did
thing,
say.
I felt it was kind of weird how he kept mentioning fetus sizes using fruit. I'm not sure why or how. I guess he
Very
didn't.
common thing.
Like, I don't know. I never saw that before. So
It's a very common
thought,
thing.
okay, well, I didn't
Part
know
of
that.
me also thinks it's in reference to the fact that back in the 70s, like women were just starting to get more out and doing stuff like that, but there's still
Neither
some
one of you
misogyny
heard
and
that
stuff
before?
going on.
Neither one
No.
of you heard that before?
No,
You've never
heard
heard
that before. No.
Really?
comparing it to fruit
Yeah.
sizes, no.
I've never heard that before. So
But the doctor specifically says this is to help women understand. So
I've
that
heard
was
that
kind
all-
of a
I've
slight.
heard
I
that
thought it
all
was
the
a
time.
jab at like feminism and like sexism stuff. I
I'm
guess.
sure.
Yeah,
I'm,
me
I'm
too.
sure.
Me
I'm
too.
sure it was. I've no doubt that it was. But
Okay.
I've heard that a
well,
whole bunch. That's surprising.
Okay, well, I
Interesting.
haven't. So.
Carry on. Go ahead.
Anyways, yeah. Other than that, I guess answering Seb's carousel thing because he didn't even bother asking me about it. But
Oh
I guess
yes,
as
your
Austin did say,
carousel.
yes. We did see whenever Wanda gets kind of unstable emotionally, a bunch of wacky things happen. I never knew she had the power to create life like that because I guess I just didn't see that because mostly whenever she's used her powers, more like mind controlling stuff, like moving things with her mind, not like physically manifesting life. So that was interesting. I for a few seconds did like guess because I thought the twins maybe or the children, sorry, the baby, might have had some influence on this too. I don't know from the womb. I'm not sure if that's a
Potentially.
thing, but
Could be.
I
Well,
had the
I do
idea
have
because
some
whenever
Easter eggs about that. So
okay, well, when they mentioned whenever it was stuff related to the baby, it was always like a baby. I thought like, oh, maybe the baby's controlling it from inside, but I don't know. I guess we'll talk more about it.
well, going right off that, Dad, the names Billy and Tommy. In the comics, those are also Scarlet Witch and Vision's children, and they do in fact have powers. So I don't know what direction the TV show is going to take them, exactly how that's going to be used.
Yep.
But I've watching some theory videos leading up to the release of WandaVision, that was brought up a lot with the idea of if they have children, these are the children they have in the comics. So I did take note of that. So that is interesting.
Yeah.
And I do like the debate between both names, like Tommy, the more traditional American name from the very European Sokovian Wanda, and the android wants his child to be named after William Shakespeare. It's an interesting fact to think of. So jumping a little bit back, but when Vision walked the doctor out, he saw his neighbor Herb cutting his bush, and then all of a sudden his hedges,
like his
and then all of a
fence.
sudden, exactly, it was in his fence. Like, so what do you guys think that was? I thought it was like a glitch in the Matrix simulation thing where like he was doing an act without consciously thinking of what he was doing. If he is even a real person, that is to say. We have more proof that we don't even know what's going on, but we have more proof that something weird's really going on later. But what did you guys think when you saw that happen?
Herb's broken, or was broken momentarily. Something broke his brain. That sort of tells me that at least Herb is crafted by something, like either Vision's mind, or not Vision's mind, either Wanda's powers or whoever's controlling the simulation, whether it's Sword or what it is. Something's not quite right there, because he's got that sort of horror movie type of Oh yeah, we're all good. I'm cutting through my fence, but no, there's nothing weird here, right? So
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, then my turn.
Matt?
Yeah. I guess he did kind of momentarily break down. Wait, was the fence made of like a stone-like material too? Like it kind of looked like a brick or something.
I
I
think
gotta
so.
say his hedge trimmer must have been like one strong hedge trimmer if it can like saw through stone like that. I don't know. Seemed like a weird detail. So maybe if this is all a simulation, there's something like maybe not everything is made of like the material that it's like showing off, and it could just be like a paper or something like that. That's why he can cut through it. I thought that was
yeah,
kind of weird.
yeah,
Because if it's stone, there's no way a hedge trimmer should be sawing through that, right? So
uh,
obviously there's something wrong with the simulation or whatever situation we're in right now. Herb momentarily did break down. I mean, he also has more like, I guess, self-aware moments later on in the episode, but I think we're gonna get there later, so I'll save my thoughts for that later.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So after Wanda creates a power outage due to some contractions, um, Vision goes and checks on the neighborhood, and then he sees her standing out there. Oh wait, no, this is before that. Vision comes back in after seeing her acting odd and all that, and he goes to Wanda, and this is our first creepy moment of the episode. He goes to Wanda and he thinks, I think something's wrong here. And then all of a sudden the TV like jumps, and then all of a sudden Vision's back standing a few feet. And
Yep.
this reminded me exactly of last episode when the no scene happened. So what did you like? I almost thought that my TV actually glitched for a
Oh
half
yeah,
second.
same.
Like, what do you guys think of
I
that?
had that opinion. I literally rewind it like 10 seconds. Like, is it me or is it my computer just like just freeze for a few seconds? So it's obviously what's the word? Uh, Purposeful that they included this. There's a reason. But yeah, honestly, it kind of scared me for a second because I was watching and it just like cut. So I did think there's something wrong with my computer.
Yeah, it was definitely very intentional, and I think that all but confirms that Vision's also in control of absolutely nothing here, and that he is probably for sure still dead. Not that that was very in question before, but that almost guarantees that something or someone is oh my goodness,
Manipulating,
manipulating. That's a hard word. That's a tough one.
manipulating.
That's a tough one. Either his mind or his body or both in so many facets. So yeah, I personally I did not think there was anything wrong with my TV. I'm gonna put my foot down in the opposite direction of you guys. I kind of expected that. I didn't think they'd go down that path with Vision figuring it out already. I think that would have
Yeah.
unless they were gonna totally break open the simulation already. But because like we've heard rumors and stuff, we're probably expecting 4 or 5 episodes. I didn't think there was any way because as soon as Vision knows it's busted, right, you're done.
Yeah.
Good night, right? That's the end of whoever's running the simulation is screwed at that point. So I figured something would happen. It was a good clean cut though to just like the first one. It was a very very blatant rewind. Here we got sort of a clean sort of not a lot of shift, and it was good edited on their part, and it was smooth. So I enjoyed it. I thought it was good. Good little scene that adds to the whole plot as a whole.
Yeah, I thought that definitely was like our first big hint. Like every episode's had a hint that something's off here, and a little more and a little more and a little bigger. And this was one of our big ones. So I'm just going to move right on to our commercial here. So we have another one of those commercials, but this one, of course, is in color, and we see it looks like a single mom dealing with all the stresses of life. Then it shows a place where you can get away, like, and all that, and she's using Hydra soap. Yes, Hydra soap.
I just
Soak.
soak, I think.
Yes, Hydra soap.
SOAK.
Yeah, soap. Hydra soap. So we get to see another Hydra Easter egg, which makes sense because if this is based on Wanda's mind, she spent a long time with Hydra as they were the ones who used Loki's staff to give her powers, and she was working with them up until midway through Age of Ultron, kind of.
Yep.
So it does make sense that they're still in her mind if these commercials are kind of like, because people have been suggesting that, like, the first one was a Stark commercial, and what was her and Pietro's parents were killed by a Stark missile.
Yep.
They mentioned that in Age of Ultron. And then Strucker experimented on them, as well as Hydra. So it does seem like these are connected to her past experiences.
Yep.
So maybe we'll see like some sort of ad for either Sokovia or Ultron himself, like a travel ad for Sokovia, or something about maybe Ultron powered refrigerator or something. I don't know. So that'll be interesting to see where they go with that. But it was a fun commercial again. I enjoy those highly and what they bring every time. And so Wanda, going back to the regular show, Wanda is getting really pregnant, and Vision goes to fetch the doctor. And that is when Geraldine comes to the house.
Yep.
And we see Geraldine, and she comes in, she needs a bucket, and Wanda, in a funny scene, is trying to hide her, basically at this point, 9 months pregnancy from Geraldine using different coats. But everything keeps like transforming. Her powers are out of control, or maybe it's the babies. So what do you guys think of that entire scene? And we'll just open it up now for that entire interaction.
Sounds good, Nat. You take the reins, and then I'll clean up whatever you leave for me.
Yeah, well, I found the scene pretty entertaining. It was pretty funny watching Wanda kind of scramble for everything because she had to like think on the fly. Her coat kept transforming into everything. So I mean, that was entertaining. He went from like this like nice suit coat to like what, a rain jacket,
raincoat to a fur coat. Yep.
Fur coat.
I don't know how Geraldine didn't like notice that. I mean, like it's probably all part of the simulation that she didn't notice it. But this typical sitcom, life. I like how she used the fruit too. That was kind of a weird thing to hide with because it doesn't really cover much, I guess. But I guess it's what it is. And yeah, I guess it was a typical sitcom scene where the character's trying to hide something and the other characters are totally oblivious to the world around them. So
yep.
It's pretty great.
Absolutely. Did anybody else notice how this might be because our simulation's breaking, but did anybody else notice how Vision was just like, nah, screw it. I'm just gonna run as fast as I can, and everybody's gonna see me, but I'm just gonna go anyways. And
and even when he picks up the doctor, he's just like,
and he's like,
the wife
like,
come
too,
on,
right?
Yep,
yeah,
exactly. Like he just the whole element of hiding himself was just like out the window.
Gone.
Yeah. What's the point of doing the hair in the face if you're gonna like run at the speed of sound? Like, what is it?
That tells me that something's gone wrong. But back to the fruit scene that was the funny moment. That might be the funniest moment of the whole episode, to be quite honest with you. And it's that classic sitcom feel. But I'm gonna have to disagree with Nathaniel. And I don't think she was oblivious because she was part of the simulation. Because I don't think she was part of the simulation at all.
Mm-hmm.
We know she's a real person,
and we'll get to that later
because of what happens a little bit later. But I think she was just oblivious to try to hide what she knew. She sort of tried to blend in with the simulation, but as we find out in about 5 minutes here, that's not accurate. So before I say too much, Sebastian, take us away.
So then continuing on with that, we get the fruit scene, we get the coats. Then a stork comes while Geraldine is telling a story from work. The stork that Wanda can't get to disappear. She tries so hard, and then she throws fruit at it, and it even gets so close that it's biting Geraldine's pant legs. But so Geraldine eventually walks into the nursery, and the stork very cleverly pretends to be the stork that's on the wall.
Yep.
It blends in perfectly, and Geraldine notices there's a nursery, and then all of a sudden Wanda's like full on about to have the baby. So Geraldine drops everything to help her have what she thinks is one child, because no one knows it's twins yet.
Yep.
But they have the first child, and then Vision just gets back there just in time with the doctor, but the baby's already born. So the doctor checks out the child, or the doctor and Geraldine go get some supplies, and Vision gets to look at the baby with his real face. And then all of a sudden, there's a second child. And then, so there's two kids. They get to name them both Billy and Tommy. So they both get their way.
Yep.
And then Vision walks the doctor out, and you get this kind of creepy exchange where the doctor says that he was trying to go on vacation, but like you can't really escape the suburbs. And escape was the key word there. What do you guys think when you heard that?
Well, I actually quoted this here. So his exact line is, he says, it's so hard to escape. Now, at first glance, this sort of slides off as just your typical busy at work comment, right? But from the context we've gotten over the last, say, hour and 20 minutes of quality TV, we know that it means more than meets the eye, right? So it's more proof that there's something going on, and certain characters may be more aware than we think they are, or maybe even than they think they are, right? As we see really soon with that next exchange in front of their house. So
Mhm.
Yeah,
Matt?
well, yeah. Now that I'm thinking about it, I feel like most of the characters in there are like more or less real people. I don't know. It feels like they were all just kind of like paid actors of some kind being in there. I don't know. I'm getting a feeling about that. I'm not sure if they are. They might still just be simulations. But I guess we haven't got to that last scene yet. But if said character can like escape this like realm of whatever this is, I have a feeling that most of these characters are probably like to some degree real, not just like just basic simulation. Because I have a feeling some of these characters wanted to leave. Like I feel like the doctor with that line kind of wanted to leave too. Like maybe just didn't want to be part of it anymore, by too much or whatever. And that's the feeling I'm getting from this. I'm not sure if it's true or not, but that's pretty much it.
I mean, your suspicions, yeah, I have the feeling that maybe they're trapped there against their will or something. Like, there's been hints that maybe, yeah, like, so I don't know. We'll see as it continues on. But moving on, now we get a dual scene with Vision talking to Agnes, who makes her appearance rather late this episode,
Yep.
and Herb. Well, Geraldine is in with the babies and Wanda. And we'll start with the Wanda side, and we'll just go for the full Wanda side, and then we'll go the full Vision side. But so for the Wanda side of it, we have her checking out the babies, and then she mentions she's a twin, and then all of a sudden she's like, "Yeah, I had a twin. His name was Pietro." And then Geraldine says, "He died. Ultron killed him." And then all of a sudden, like you can tell, Wanda was like her eyes, just like the way everything changed, her demeanor, the way she spoke, everything changed because Ultron, the Avengers, Sokovia, her past, like that has not been really brought up to this point. Because again, Vision's dead. They're Avengers. They're superheroes. Like, what's going on?
Yep.
All of it's been ignored. This is our first sign that there is still that reality is still out there,
yep.
and someone's either keeping Wanda from it or she's keeping herself from it. But we have both of these, and it was so like, what do you guys think when Geraldine brought up, when she brought up Ultron and Sokovia and Pietro being dead and all that? Just whole thing.
I'm going to let Nathaniel go first because I got a little bit of a long-winded explanation as to why I think Nathaniel's theory about them being paid actors or any of that is potentially wrong. So I'm going to let him go first and then circle back.
Well, on my paid actor theory, just kidding. Obviously Geraldine knows more than she lets on. I think Geraldine of all people is probably an actual real person with more proof found later in the episode. So I feel like we haven't talked about Vision side, but there's a line Agnes, I think it was Agnes mentions.
Yep.
But I feel like Geraldine's like breaking whatever like rule or like contract she signed with whoever is running the simulation, because I don't think she's technically supposed to be in there. So when she drops the whole Ultron bomb like that, it really starts to break apart everything that we know and love about this show. It's no longer just, it's more obvious that it's more than what it is, right?
Yep.
It was a nice just mic drop type of thing.
Yeah. I'd have to agree with that. And I think definitely Agnes was sent to infiltrate the simulation in some way, shape, or form, figure some stuff out, which tells me that, and then we see the necklace with the sword emblem on it. So part of me says that maybe it's not controlled by sword. Maybe they're just watching it, but it's out of their reach. And that's why they sent her in, because like Agnes says, and this was the big point for me, if they were all paid actors and they were all working for sword, why would they butt heads? Because Agnes straight out says, is Geraldine in there? And then Vision's like, yeah, that's fine. Yeah, why? Well, she doesn't have a house. She doesn't live anywhere here, right? So like that's what sort of swirling around my mind right now. And then obviously we watch Geraldine get absolutely yeeted out of the entire simulation at the end. So, I mean, that was a little bit entertaining. That sort of put us really boots in the mud of what's actually going on a little bit more than we've seen in the past. So we're going to have some development soon, very soon.
Yeah, that was definitely a big bombshell of the episode. Like, I was not expecting that. I wasn't expecting, and yeah, Wanda became very defensive right away. And just the way beforehand, she was like, yeah, she was singing a Sokovian lullaby, it looked like, and she got very defensive right away, and she kicked her out. Now, before we talk about that last scene, I just want to say that on the Vision side of things, the neighbors, they know more than they're letting on. Even Herb, who I think, like, Agnes seems to be one of the most self-aware neighbors, but
Yep.
I think that they both know something, and I don't think we'll find out for a while, but I'm interested to see what they know.
Yep.
So to move on right to that final scene, the aspect ratio of the show changes. It goes to full widescreen, like any normal movie or show you'd see on TV today. And we see a body be thrown out, and it's Geraldine, and she's lying on the grass, and there's this whole military, which is definitely probably sword operation going on. You've got like trucks, and they've got like tents, and they've got buildings and equipment.
Yep.
And so that is our biggest glimpse of what's going on out there.
Yep.
So what do you guys think of that reveal?
Well, I'll start.
Yeah.
I guess I like the effect of seeing her get thrown out of the simulation or whatever, like the nice like wormhole thing that appeared. I guess the first thing when I saw it, I guess I wasn't thinking exactly sword. I thought she was gonna get shot at for some reason. I don't know why. Just
Yeah,
like, you know, the way the helicopter had like the beam train, like a light beam train on her. Obviously wasn't that. When you start watching the scene a bit more, it makes more sense that it's probably sword. Probably picking her up because she messed up somewhere. She definitely messed up for sure.
Yeah.
Dropping that Ultron bomb right there. But it was interesting. I wish we seen more because I really wanted to know more what's happening outside. But I guess all we gotta see is just her lying on the floor. So I guess it confirms that it's obviously a simulation of some kind.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's not much information to go off of.
No, it's just a quick little glimpse at the end. It's potentially the best cliffhanger we've seen in a while. Just sort of grab your attention, hang on to it, be like, I got it. I'm not giving it back for a week. And like that sort of that scene sort of confirmed in my mind that Sword may have absolutely no control over this. They may just be prepared, trying to contain, if you want to call it a storm, whatever you want to call it, contain it in the area it's in and try to infiltrate it, which is why they sent Geraldine in. But I don't know. I don't know why you'd send an agent in with an emblem and the inability to keep your mouth shut, though, because you'd think like somebody good at their job, you wouldn't be like, okay, we're going to give it away right now. It is a TV show, but I'd hope that Sword's a little bit brighter than that. But we'll have to wait a week and find out.
Exactly. If Sword's anything like S.H.I.E.L.D., they're definitely, I think, investigating this. I definitely, like Austin, think this proves they have no control over this. They're trying to monitor it, maybe save Wanda, as that radio transmission from last week suggests that they're trying to, Wanda, who's doing this to you.
Yep.
So, but I definitely think, I'm excited. I think next week or the week after, we'll get maybe a lot more of what's actually going on out there. And I'm excited to see what's going on out there. But yeah, Wanda definitely has some sort of control of this reality, if it's her or if someone else has put her in it, because she was able to kick Geraldine out.
Yeah.
So I'm interested to see where it goes. This, like you said, it grabs your attention and it'll hold on to it for another week.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
I'm excited. So any big theories for next week's episode?
More weird stuff.
Yeah, that's what like.
Yeah.
It's not like last week where we had the whole cliffhanger with Wanda being pregnant, right? This episode is more about the whole Sword side. I mean, maybe we'll learn more about Sword next week. I guess we'll see what happens, like post all this stuff, because we haven't got there yet. Like how everyone reacts. But other than that, I'm not exactly sure where they're gonna take this.
The kids, for sure. I almost guarantee.
The kids.
They grow up kind of quick. I doubt we see them in little baby form ever again.
Fair enough. Yes.
Especially if she got
definitely
pregnant in 4 hours. Like, it'll be quick, right? So maybe
Sure.
we'll see their powers next
Yeah,
week.
maybe if they do have powers. Like I
Yep.
said, that was what they did in the comics, and the MCU they take from the comics, but they make it their own to great success.
Yep.
So I definitely think that they will. I think we'll see the kids. I think they'll age rapidly, and I think we will definitely see. I think it'll still be the sitcom next week. I don't think it'll break next week, but I do think maybe we'll flash to the sword side of things a little more, and maybe see what's going on outside of the dome of simulation or whatever it is. So
Yeah, I can see it.
So from everyone here at the Prairie Grown Reviews channel, I ask you to subscribe, ring that bell for notifications, and if you like our content, check out our social medias with Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook. And if you want book, games, and movie reviews, go to www.prairiegrownreviews.com. And from everyone here at the Prairie Grown Reviews team, see you next time.